Hi, welcome to Trapping Inc. I'm Rich Mellon. On today's show, Sandy and I are going to talk about some first of the season muskrat trapping. Muskrats right now in Alberta and across most of the prairie pothole region of Canada are exploding in population. And it's great because muskrats are also worth a lot of money right now. My best muskrat last year I got $15 for, and I think I averaged just about $9, $8.80 or $8.90 or something like that, for every muskrat I sold last season. So that's pretty good money. You take and get at it a little bit serious, like a buddy of mine, and he does 1,000 to 1,500 rats in 2 weeks, $9 each. Works out a nice little payday. Resident trappers catch the vast majority of muskrats. And that reason being is that all those potholes are in the prairies and they're usually on owned land, private land. Some big bush lines will have muskrats. I have a few on mine, and I'm kind of lucky. I know people don't even have beaver on their line. There's just no water whatsoever. It's extremely important that we manage muskrat populations. Muskrats as rodents can breed, and the population can explode from none in a lake to being overpopulated in a single summer. And that's bad because they're not only destructive with building their bank dens and that. In some cases, they build them into the sides of roads or retaining walls or whatever and cause destruction. They also can get a disease called tularemia. And we can get that. Our dogs, our animals can get it. So it's a thing that we need to take care of. Plus, it's just a shame to see 80 to 90% of those young of the year born every year just die and it be wasted. That's all we're doing as trappers, is we are managing a surplus. Trapping is the cornerstone that Canada was built on. Brave and sometimes crazy men and women, fueled by the lucrative fur trade, explored and mapped our great nation. Hundreds of years have passed since then, but trapping still remains vibrant, strong, and steeped in the ancient traditions. The fur bearers still follow the old paths and live as dictated by thousands of years of instinct. Fur only gets prime in the harsh temperatures of winter, and trappers must respect and prepare for the weather. Trapping's past is firmly rooted in history, but today, the gear and techniques have changed. Canada is still known for the best wild fur in the world, and today our pelts are sold on the global market. Our community is large, and our numbers are growing. We are trappers. This is what we do and where we belong. Join us in our adventures. Welcome to Trapping Inc., the face of today's trapper. Okay, a little bit on the floats. There are many, many ways to catch muskrats, and we'll eventually cover them all on this show. What we're going to talk about here is floats, and we're going to talk about just the particular using leg holds. These floats I've made myself. They're homemade, and they are really basic. Half-inch piece of plywood, 1 foot by 2 foot, two 2x2s. I don't remember whether I screwed them or stapled them on the edges. A lot of people think that has the effect of hurting the muskrats into just coming over the ends. 99% of the time, the muskrats come over the sides no matter what. 1 inch styrofoam foam on the bottom, and I have this 2 or 2.5 inch hole here. This is simply for anchoring. I take and use like a 4-foot surveyor stake or whatever, shove down through the middle to anchor my float so it doesn't float away. 2 kinds of traps are used in this situation. There are times when we'll use body grips, but those are a killing trap all on their own. These traps can only be used in a situation when they're used as a killing trap, which in this case means they're going to be used for drowning. This is a coil spring, a 1.5 coil spring. It's a pretty nice trap. It needs a little bit of adjustment so that the pan sits level on it, but other than that, it works pretty good. Its biggest problem is it doesn't weigh a lot. So you have to add either chain to it to add more weight, or put a big bolt or nut or whatever on it to add more weight. Why we consider the weight is the way that the dynamics of how we catch the rats. They get up on here, they hit the trap closes on their foot or whatever. The first thing they do is they bail over the side. If the trap is heavy enough, holds them down, and 20, 30 seconds, it's all over with. If the trap isn't heavy enough, they might be able to climb back up on the float. Now, that happens usually only with a leg caught, a hind leg caught rat, and usually only a big rat. But all the same, we're doing this responsibly. So in that case, if you're using something like this or a smaller long spring, you want to add weight to it. These are 1.5 long springs, and these are easily the worst trap I've ever used in my life. And why I say that is that if you buy a dozen, and I have several dozen of them, you set that first dozen, and I bet you half of them won't even go off when you push down on the pan. You have to pull the jaws out of them. You have to smooth up the edges here, and you got to tune them and all. They're a lot of work. Eventually, they work. Why do I put up with all that needless work in that on a trap? It's because they are a 1.5 and they're a long spring and they weigh. I don't have to add anything else to them. So they work good in that situation. Either one will do the job, as you're going to see right now.
So Sandy and I have been off doing a little damage control in and out of the muskrats. So what happened, Sand?
I lost my footing. I ended up in muskrat hole. Now, one of my finer moments.
I'll tell you what, I didn't know whether to run or go blind because the look on your face, but you sucked up so much of the oxygen around there that I got dizzy and couldn't do anything.
And let's just tell everybody that we did this before we even got out into the water. So I've been like this for a couple of hours already.
Nobody's tougher than you, not even me.
Canada has a long tradition of producing the finest fur in the world. At Belial Traps, we have been a proud supporter of this reputation for over 20 years. Our patented designs and proven reliability have set the gold standard in professional-grade traps. We are proud of our contributions to the advancement of trapping. Our belief in uncompromising quality means that every Belial trap is 100% Canadian-made by us for unbeaten performance. Belial Traps, first in the forest.
This segment brought to you by Argo UTV. Any season, any terrain. Online at argoutv.com.
Right the channel, huh?
Duck leader, whatever.
Yeah, it's just about too thick to paddle through.
But not thick enough to walk on.
Not quite. This is awkward.
Oh, these nice little puddles that are back in here. We've scared up lots of waterfowl out of here already.
Look at the rat house there. You right?
Oh yeah.
I think we can't find a better place than this for that, can we?
It would seem, eh? So we just about passed by this. Very hard to see in here, but there is a great big rat house. And it just looks like, wow, it is just a pile of reeds, but...
Yeah. I don't know if I come back some more, you can see it in through that. We're gonna set right here, just when we've got enough, just deep enough water. But can you see it there? See the size of that?
My weeds have dried out.
Yeah, they could get blown around here. We're very close to a road where there's problem beavers and muskrats in here, so we're going to start with setting the muskrat traps.
Got that? Gee, that's a big freaking house, huh?
Mm-hmm.
How many rats live in a place like this?
I wouldn't even hazard a guess.
This segment brought to you by Argo UTV. Any season, any terrain. Online at argoutv.com.
Canada has a long tradition of producing the finest fur in the world. At Belial Traps, we have been a proud supporter of this reputation for over 20 years. Our patented designs and proven reliability have set the gold standard in professional grade traps. We are proud of our contributions to the advancement of trapping. Our belief in uncompromising quality means that every Belial trap is 100% Canadian made by us for unbeaten performance. Belial Traps, first in the forest.
This segment brought to you by Belial Traps, first in the forest. Find us online at belialtrap.com.
Another big wind today, huh?
Keep this thing going.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh yeah. On his back foot.
Yep.
Huh.
Big rat too. Whew. Soaking, wringing wet, so he hit it not long after we were here.
Yeah.
Oh, nice big rat.
Well, that's excellent.
That's a great
That's our
start.
first check.
It's our first check on the first set. Look at what they've done to where the lure was.
We've scratched it up.
The lure is gone.
Yeah.
This is good though, because this is up on the west side of all this slough here. So I mean, they can sure smell it for a long ways. Put it that way. All right, 1 for 1. But we had 2 traps. We won't
Yeah.
count that.
Okay.
That's 1 now.
One.
Oh no, there's a lot of blue sticking up on this side. Bet you there's 2 bailed off on the other side. It floats riding high in the water, in my professional estimation. Pretty sick with the boat.
Ooh. Yeah.
What do we got? I think I see one here. Oh yeah, oh, and this is a big booner rat. Look at the size of that rat. What do we got on the other end? Oh, I see him down there. Lurking. Dun 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 dun. Oh, an even bigger booner rat.
Well, that lure has been magical.
Look at that. Woo! That's a pair of big uns. Okay, well I need to get some more weeds and stuff here. This is actually a rat house that I'm going to tear apart to do this with.
What have we got going on here?
Well, I think we had a little oops here.
Oh. I think he's the smallest rat.
And he's the tiniest rat.
We managed to get him in both traps.
Yeah.
Wow. Now there is talent.
What are you seeing here?
Well, one's over. Both of them are over. Oh, and I see one rat down there.
You do?
Yeah, I don't know if the camera can see it.
Yeah, I can see her out on the other end. Here's your double.
Oh, it looks like big ones too, hey?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
There's a booner. Booner rat. That's hilarious, isn't it? And here's another one. Little guy. Or maybe a medium. He's certainly smaller than the first, though.
This segment brought to you by Belial Traps, first in the forest. Find us online at belialtrap.com.
Canada has a long tradition of producing the finest fur in the world. At Belial Traps, we have been a proud supporter of this reputation for over 20 years. Our patented designs and proven reliability have set the gold standard in professional grade traps. We are proud of our contributions to the advancement of trapping. Our belief in uncompromising quality means that every Belial trap is 100% Canadian made by us for unbeaten performance. Belial Traps, first in the forest.
Another tiny rat.
Okay, so that's 5.
One of the most important things you can do to get yourself the most money from your muskrats is to dry them. When the fur is dry, when you put them on the boards, then it stays fluffed up a lot better and gives the fur grader a lot better chance at determining the quality, the thickness of the pelt. When it's wet, that becomes matted, just like flattened out, just like a paste of cardboard on there. And it's really hard for them to be able to judge and give you a fair price on them, a fair grading. So here's one of the things I do. A lot of people will take and hang them, which works good. You can hang them, let them dry by keeping a fan going, moving air over them. And that works good too. In this time of the year, this fall time of the year, and that you worry about green belly. That's where the innards, of course, have a lot of heat in there, and it'll actually turn the inside of the skin a little bit green. In worst cases, it can cause the fur to slip. It can get you downgraded. One of the things I do to dry with is I've got an old dryer here, and if you take a look, you can see in the back I've taken duct taped off all of the vents back there. This does not have any heat in it whatsoever. It is just strictly got sawdust in it, and the sawdust is going to absorb the moisture out of the rats as I take and tumble them.
This is just my redneck way of making a tumbler, that's all. I just set it for 10 minutes is all you need. Fire it up and away you go. There we go. Look at that. Look at how beautifully that is. How nice and dry that is. The little bit of sawdust that's in it, once I skin it, I'll give it a snap of the wrist and that gets rid of it all. But look at how beautiful that is compared to that wet matted fur we had before. I've just got wood shavings in here from making my cedar boards off my planer. Anything at all works. Some you can buy sawdust or you can use any kind of sawdust, but just a few minutes in there and these are absolutely perfect and ready for skinning. There's a big one. There you go. Look at the size of that one. Remember that? It'll help you get the most money for your muskrat fur.
Well, this could very well be my last day for rat trapping with floats. If you take a look out over my shoulder here, ooh, it's a little bit white out there. I'm hoping that it's not too hard getting around on the, that everything's not frozen, because the canoe is going to be a little bit of fun. He's moved over there to another patch of weeds. Well, I got a trap down here. This might be the last one that I get to film. As the camera's starting to get pretty dang wet out here, but let's see what we got. Oh, a big rat. Beautiful rat. That's what we like. That's what we like. Nice rat. I'll get him out, get him in here. That's the only one on the float so far, and the floats are starting to add up in the canoe. But like I say, it's pretty dang wet out here right now. Doesn't that look beautiful? Don't you all wish you're out here with me? You can see weight and portability is important in muskrat floats. I'm gonna have to take this load in and come back out and get the rest. It takes up a lot of room, but it's also a lot of weight here. Boy, I didn't get very many of these little tiny guys. I got a lot of these, which are gonna go probably extra large. This will go small. These will probably go extra large. And then I got some double XLs, maybe even triple XLs in here. Look at that. Like, holy cow, those are huge rats. It was a great season. I hope you enjoyed the show. And I hope I've inspired you to look into trapping. You know, go out and get your certification, get your resident license, get some permission, get some traps, and go out and have a little bit of fun, get some fresh air, and earn a little bit of money. We'll see you out on the line. Trapping Inc. is brought to you by these fine sponsors. Argo UTV, any season, any terrain. Online at argoutv.com. Belisle Traps, first in the forest. Find us online at belisletrap.com. And by Alberta Outdoorsman Magazine, Alberta's only hunting, fishing, and trapping magazine. You can keep up with all the action online at trappinginc.com or join our Facebook and YouTube sites.